It's so good to see you. It's been so long. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm so happy that you're here. Yeah, I was on the Appalachian Trail just last month. Yeah, my pack was it was almost too heavy. I almost had too much stuff in there. Yeah, you wanna see my pack? Sure, yeah, I can show it to you. I've got it right here. I can just show you the things that I always have with me. So, here's my pack itself. And you can see it's very personalized. I like to put patches and things on it, and I've got my new Instagram where I share stuff about my hiking journeys, hikinpsychic. And this is cross stitch that I made, and I've got my friend of bugs patch here. So yeah, obviously it's not, my pack isn't totally full right now. I've mostly been able to unpack the things that like my clothes, and I don't have any food in here right now, but I'll show you what is in here. So, well, the first thing I keep on the outside is my hat. And I just really like to have a hat when I'm out on the trail, because it keeps, I Scotch guarded this before I left twice, 2 coats, so it kept the rain off, because it rained so much while I was out. I got soaked. It rained like 5 days in a row at one point, and I had nothing dry left. My boots and my socks had just turned into sponges on my feet. I couldn't get dry anymore. So at that point I checked into a hostel where I had my laundry done. But this hat really helps to keep the rain out of my eyes, keep the rain off my face. And I really like how well it's made. It's from REI. It's one of the REI co-op products, and it's sized. So, and I really like this part here because it allows me to adjust and keep it on my head if that becomes an issue. So this was really helpful to have. And then we've got this top part of my pack. And I use this also as a day pack, so if I stop somewhere and do a 0 day, not hiking that day, and I need to just go off and get some water or forage for mushrooms or something like that, I just use this because, so here's the top, and it snaps on to the pack here, but on the back it's got these little straps that come out and can click into place. So then you can wear it like a day pack. So that I noticed a lot of hikers will take this part of their pack off because it adds extra weight. It's not always necessary, but they don't all convert like this either, so they're not all so multifunctional. I really like that. I love my pack so much. So I keep things that I want to get to quickly in the top. And the thing that I always look for first every time I stop somewhere is water. Because water is so important. So I keep my water filtration system in here. And I have the Sawyer Mini. And I keep it in this little mesh pouch. And I went ahead and filled up the pouch so I can show you how this works. So you would fill this pouch with water that you need to filter. And here, okay, a little like confession here. I only recently started filtering my water. My whole life I've just drank water. I've just drank the natural water out of streams, and never bothered filtering it, and I've never gotten sick from water. I've drank water in Mexico, and they say unless you live there, you shouldn't do that. I drank water from Mexico, not bottled, tap water without filtering it, and I never got sick from it. So this was new for me to start filtering my water, but I thought it was important that I make sure that I didn't get sick, because I was going to be on the trail for quite a long time and not necessarily be close enough to the kind of services I might want if I got sick. So I got my water filtration system. It worked really well for me. So I'll show that to you now. So this is the little syringe, and this is just, I don't know if you can hear that. This is for cleaning the filter, and I'm not going to show you how that works, but I will show you this. So this is the mini, the filter's inside of here, and we take this bag, and you screw the mini on top. You can also use, like, the threads here fit a standard water bottle as well. So you can just use your own water bottle too if you want. But I always carry my Nalgene with me, and you can see I've got lots of stickers on here. I think the moon might be my favorite, or my new Appalachian Trail, Georgia sticker. I picked that up while I was on the trail at a shop. I also like my jumping spider and strength tarot. So yeah, I love this water bottle. So when I would get to a water source, I would stop and I would fill this up and take that cap off, and then all you have to do is squeeze. I hope you like that sound. I like it. It sounds a little tinkling. And I like to listen to the change. The tone changes as it gets more full. So then you just take this part off, put the cap back on, because you don't want dirt getting on the cap, because you can also just fill this and screw the cap on and just, stick that back on and just drink directly out of this, like that. But as you can see, this bag is only 16 ounces, so when I would stop for water, would have to fill this many times, like 6 or 7 times, because this is 32 ounces, and I would always fill this. I drank, while I was hiking, at least 2 of these every day, and I only used this as my drinking water. I didn't use it for anything else, so I could really track how much water I was drinking. But I also would carry this platypus water bag, and this is 2 liters, so I would fill this every time I stopped at a water source too. I would make sure this was full because I would use this for cooking and brushing my teeth or cleaning up, whatever I needed to do beyond just drinking water. But sometimes if I had to go a really long time between water sources, I would have to drink this water too, but I always filtered it. And, the nice thing about this is that it folds down to almost nothing, and when it's full, it will stand up on its own. So I really liked this. It's super lightweight, which is really important when you're hiking. You try to get the weight in your pack as low as possible. Mine was like 35 pounds, and it was much heavier than I'd like. So seeing what else I can do to cut weight now. So now that I've got that fresh water, let's take a sip. Oh, I forgot this fridge. Then, in the other little pocket, I always have my gator. This is really, I wear this almost all the time. And I would wear it like this sometimes. It would help to keep the sweat from rolling into my face, or like that, and then I would have my hat on top, and it could keep the bugs out of my face more too, because sometimes I would fly into I would walk into these masses of little tiny flying gnats and that kind of thing. And what's really nice about this is when it's wet, it's cool, it's nice and cold. So sometimes when I would stop at water, fresh, it's mostly springs on the trails I was on, and I would stop and I would dunk this to get it nice and cold, and then put it back on my neck to cool myself off. And then the other thing up here is my little first aid kit, and this needs to be restocked, but I'll show you what's in it right now. There's some Afterbite, some antibiotic ointment, some not toothpicks, what are these called? Q-tips, a lighter, some little squishy earplugs, a tiny thing of super glue, which is not for repairing things, it's for mending deep cuts or wounds. It can kind of act like a new skin, or it can hold things together. Antiseptic towels for cleaning. You'll notice there's no band-aids in here, and that's because band-aids just aren't super effective on the trail, because you're probably very dirty and sweaty and oily, and if you're not, you'll get that way quickly. So even if you put a band-aid on, they just don't stick very well unless you get like really good ones, and I didn't need a band-aid at any point anyway, so yeah, but that's that little box. So then in my pack, we've got my toiletry case. This just has there's some little, got toothpaste in here. I use all things that are safe for the environment, so it's Dr. Bronner's toothpaste, and a little tiny Nalgene of Dr. Bronner's soap, and this is what's it called? It's a bee balm. It's like an all-purpose moisturizer, and it smells divine. And there's a little bee. So cute. It's made out of beeswax and avocado butter and some other stuff. And this is really helpful. I will rub it into my feet at night sometimes. And it can help to create a moisture barrier too. So when it was raining a ton, when I would stop at the end of the day, my feet would just be soaked, and I would try to get them dry by taking all my socks off and stuff, and they would dry out overnight, and then I would rub this stuff into my feet to try to create a moisture barrier, so when it would be raining the next day, my feet wouldn't just get like trench foot, basically. Moisture barriers go two ways. You want to keep moisture in, but you also don't want too much. And I've got my toothbrush and my deodorant. So that's my little toiletry kit, and this is a wet bag, so it won't leak. Cooking stuff in here. So this is the cup that I would drink coffee out of every morning. Instant coffee. I don't have a backpacking coffee maker, and I don't really need one when I'm backpacking. I do like to have coffee in the morning when I'm backpacking, but I'm perfectly satisfied with instant. And I know that there are a lot of people who would be horrified by that, but I enjoy it in the morning. It's a little comfort thing. And it's just not worth the wait or the additional space in my pack to get a coffee maker. So the handles, it opens up like that, so you got a little handle. And I love this, and the other nice thing about this is that my Nalgene fits right in there. So it's another space-saving measure, and I would just keep this on the outside of my pack. apologize for that. And then my spork. I use this for cooking and eating. And then my stove. So this is my little stove. It's a pocket rocket. And it works with this. These IsoPro canisters. And you pop this part off. Like that. And I heard someone said to me, the only bad thing about the pocket rocket is that it's hard to get back in this little box. And yeah, it takes a little finagling, that it's hard to put the feet back in the right position. So here's the little stove, and you open up these little feet, arms, whatever they are. And then it goes on top of here. So it goes on there. I'm not going to screw it all the way because I don't want to release any of the gas. And then I have my cooking pot that I would cook my food in. I did make use of freeze-dried meals, and some of them are very good. And most of them you can just cook them right in the bag. You just add water to the bag and then let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes. But I quickly found that I was only eating half of the bag because they are 2 meals per bag. And I thought I would be hungry enough to eat it, but I wasn't, and I ended up wasting food. So I started just portioning out what was in that bag into 2, but that required a separate cooking pot. I also made my own meals, like with my own recipes too, so a cooking pot was important. So mine comes in this little thing, and I really liked that it has this, I guess it's like a koozie, so that it's not so hot to pick it back up. And that just zips off. And it's very blackened by soot because I used it over a campfire for like a week before I bought this stove, so it got very sooty. But it's also got these little fold-in handles, and I really like this part, so you can hold it here. And then what's really neat, this is a little cleaning thing. What's neat about this size, is that it will hold a spare canister of IsoPro. So, and I've seen some people who don't use the little red box. They will just fold this up and it will actually fit inside here too. So this would just sit on here and you cook like that. So that's how I get cooking done on the trail. And honestly, I eat better on the trail than I do in my regular life, because you don't have the option except to cook for yourself, and I tend to order out a lot if I'm not forced to cook for myself. So I really enjoy being on the trail, and the rhythm of my life when I'm hiking. And I really like all of the little sounds of the hiking gear. this to be a little ASMR-y. I'm trying to be a little slow and quiet and deliberate, but I'm definitely out of practice. Actually remember what's in here completely. This is stuff that was spread throughout the pack while I was hiking. Oh yes. So this is a big extra thing that is unnecessary, but I take it with me anyway. And it's my selfie stick tripod. And that's because while I wasn't making ASMR videos on the trail, I was making other videos, so it's helpful to have this. It's just a small extra tool that I found worthwhile. Headlamp. This is invaluable at nighttime. My knife. It needs to be sharpened. And I actually have a whetstone right here. Tell me if you like the sound of that. If you'd like to see me do a full-length video of knife sharpening. I have several different things that could stand to be sharpened. I have other knives too, so if that sounds nice to you, let me know. It's just a really good knife. I use it for all sorts of things. For cooking, I picked up a walking stick. Oh, I should have pulled that over so you could see it. I picked up a stick off the ground. It was just, I wasn't gonna pull anything down, but it was just on the ground, and it was just a perfect walking stick, so I used this to strip the bark off of it. I've got some patches in here that haven't made it onto the pack yet. I picked up this one at a local shop. This one, people ask me sometimes what house I would be. I would be Hufflepuff all the way. I think everybody should be taught magic. You don't have to be a special person to learn magic. It's for all of us. But my most favorite one of late is my Appalachian Trail Georgia patch. I've also got my compass. I used this quite a bit, almost every day. Yeah, it's a good thing to have and to know how to read a compass. And my map. I love this map. This is the entirety of the state of Georgia. So rather than having a larger map, this is, it's tiny. And the red line there is the trail itself. And the little symbols on there tell you things about what you can expect at various spots. So here, there are often bears around there, so they recommend you have a bear box so bears don't steal your food. On the back, it also shows the elevation changes, which is just like so helpful. So my map, and then got my little trowel and some bug spray. The bug spray was very necessary for me. And then some waterproof matches and a little can opener, though I didn't use this because I never had a can with me. But this is one of those things that just, it's so small and so light, and it reminds me of my childhood, so I keep it with me anyway. And then a little whistle, and this whistle actually has a place for a couple of pills if you need to put just some emergency pills in there. So let's put all this stuff back in this bag, and then I'll show you my sleep system, and we'll go to sleep. Of other stuff sacks that get used for various things. This is a really big one. And normally my whole sleep system goes in here, but my pack isn't super organized right now. This is also like triple scotch guarded, so everything stays really dry. Then I've got another nice big mesh bag, and I use this for when I'm foraging. I had chanterelle mushrooms, thinking about this salad that I made. The salad was chia seed sprouts. So chia sprouts that I had sprouted on the trail in a bag, and oxalis, which is a kind of like a weed that grows, kind of looks like clovers, but the leaves are they're heart-shaped. I had clover flowers on it as well, and wild blackberries. And then I had some olive oil and red wine vinegar in little packets, and I made this into a salad, and it was such a luxury to have fresh produce out on the trail. And when I would stop and eat with other hikers, they would always comment on how good my food looked, because I wasn't just eating freeze-dried food. I did eat freeze-dried food, but even then I would spice it up with condiments and little packets of Parmesan cheese and that kind of thing to just add more nutrition but also more flavor, and having something like a salad out there is just it was amazing. And then I've got another just basic stuff sack these things back in my pack and then show you what I would sleep with. So down here in the bottom of my pack is my sleep system. So let's see what's in here. We've got my hammock. When I was on the trail, I was hammock camping, so I did not have a tent with me. And then my bug net. And then this is my tarp that I used to keep myself dry when it rained. This is actually the footprint from my tent, but it worked really well. Everything that was in the hammock would stay dry. I never got wet while I was in my hammock, but pretty much everything outside of it would get soaked because this wasn't quite big enough to cover my pack on the ground or anything like that, so that'll get upgraded too. And then my little pillow. This pillow is really more useful when I'm sleeping in a tent. I found that I didn't end up using this all that much in my hammock. That I just didn't need a pillow in the hammock. But when I'm tent camping, this is like invaluable. It makes a world of difference when sleeping on the ground to have a pillow. And then this is a bag that has some tent stakes, guidelines. It's really just for keeping the tarp really pinned down. And this actually is more than I actually packed because this is the whole thing that went with my tent. And then my sleep mat. So this is my sleeping mat. I have now used this as well as my pillow in my hammock and on the ground, and I love it for both. In my hammock, it helps to keep me from being very cold, because when you've got air moving under you and you don't have an underquilt, which I don't have an underquilt for my hammock, you kind of want that extra little pocket of air under you to help keep your body temperature up. And if it's very small, like the size, it's smaller than my Nalgene, and it weighs less than a pound. I'm very pleased with this sleep mat, and it wasn't a bad price either. And then hammock straps. These were actually given to me. I had just had ropes with me while I was hiking, but when I left, the shuttle driver who took me back to my car does a lot of walks along the trail and picks things up that he finds, and he'd found these on the trail, and I had earlier in the conversation, because we talked, we were together in his car for over an hour, and I had mentioned that I needed to get some hammock straps, that I didn't want to use ropes anymore, and when I got out, he went into the back of his truck and pulled these out and gave them to me. So I am so grateful to get these are little bits of trail magic. Trail magic is it's this idea that everyone has on the trail, that things work out, that you always get what you need, that the trail will provide, and there are people who make it their work to keep trail magic alive, and they'll go and leave gallons of water, of clean water, at places where they know that it's many, many miles to another water source. There are at some of the stops, like at Neil Gap, there's a shop there, and they've got a hiker box outside where you can just leave things that you don't need anymore, and if there's something in there that you do need, you just take it, and it's just an honor system. It's just magic, people just sharing and being kind to each other, and I experienced so much of it. The Appalachian Trail hiker community is some of the best people I've ever met. I'm really honored to have met these people. So then I've got my sleeping bag liner, and my quilt. So you'll notice I don't have a sleeping bag. I have found that my backpacking quilt plus my sleeping bag liner keeps me plenty warm. It just keeps me plenty warm. I haven't needed a sleeping bag, and it's so much smaller and lightweight to just go with this. So I'm gonna pull out my quilt so we can get nice and cozy before going to sleep. I'm gonna get this stuff put away. Love this quilt. I really like the color. It's a really pretty teal. And I like that it has these snaps. It has snaps on either side, so you can snap it, snap it together, and then you can wear it like a cape, or you can snap it together at your feet to kind of like a sleeping bag. I just love the longer it's out of the bag, the fluffier it gets. And it's just so nice and warm.